Well, good morning. Today is Monday, November 13th. Yep, November 13th. And we have time. It's time. It's not, well, we always have time, but it's time for our weekly meeting highlights. And this week is how to make tricky food decisions on the fly. I've made some really poor food decisions in this past 10 days. But anyway, we usually start off with how I did the previous week on my weigh-ins. If you're new to my channel, I attend a meeting at studio on Thursday mornings at 11 a.m. And this week I didn't go because I had my book club. I have a book club that I belong to that's the second Thursday rather of every month. And so I wasn't able to attend my meeting. I had planned on going on Friday, but I had some appointment that I had to keep on Friday, so I wasn't able to go to the meeting. So therefore I did not go to the meeting. I have not weighed myself, but I can tell you by the way I'm feeling, how my clothes are fitting, that unless I get right back on track this week, I'm gonna have a gain this Thursday no matter what. I've already resigned myself to the fact I'm gonna have a gain. It's just a matter of how large of a gain it's gonna be, because I have done that poorly in the last 10 days. I've had a lot of stress in my life lately, and unfortunately I turned to food, and that's just not the way to do it. It's just not. You can fit foods into your diet, and because it is a diet, let's face it, it is a diet. But you can fit any kind of foods that you want as long as you don't go to extremes. And like the Billy Joel song, I go to extremes. I went to extremes. I went to a lot of extremes. When I grocery shopped, I brought home stuff that I knew was going to tempt me, and sure enough, it did. So anyway, let's talk about the subject this week, which is how to make tricky food decisions on the fly. Next time you suddenly find yourself face to face with the food you love but didn't plan for, use these steps to switch off autopilot and decide what to do. I should have followed that advice. These are some things that they're going to tell you to do, to try this. Check in with your points budget. Okay, I have not tracked in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to be honest. 2 weeks I have not tracked. I have a general idea of what I've been eating and drinking because I've been to Starbucks a couple times. But I think the fact that I'm not tracking it and looking at it, facing it head on, is kind of giving me an excuse that, you know what, was it really that bad? Yeah, it really was. And the reason I know it was that bad is because I didn't track it. If I really didn't think it was that bad, I would have tracked it. But in my heart of hearts, I knew it was bad, so I did not track it. And therein lies the rub. That's why I did so poorly. So check in with your points budgets. Can you make room by eating a smaller portion using weeklies or leaning on 0-point foods later? When I lost my original 96 pounds, I followed that advice. Not to say that I had a loss every week, because I did not have a loss every week. I was like a roller coaster, up and down and up and down, and I would, lose really well, and then I'd gain a lot. And then I'd lose all that, and then lose again, and then I'd gain. So, it was a battle, and it took me almost 2 years to really lose the 96 pounds. But it was 2 years of where I was really focusing on what I was eating. I was tracking. I was aware of when I was going off the rails. I faced it head on. I haven't been doing that lately, and I have to get back to that. One of the ways I'm going to do that is I'm going to go back and look at some of my older videos from when I first was starting off, when I was at least what I weigh right now. What I weigh right now, I should go back and look at a video, because I can look at my Weight Watcher tracker and see what date I was at this weight, and then go back on my videos and look and see what I was doing at that point to be losing. Because when I go back on my trackers and I see where I'm at right now, it's when I first started. Isn't that sad? That's sad to say, but it was when I first started, was when I weighed what I weigh right now. And so that'll give me a gauge of my enthusiasm. You know the word. It'll give me a gauge of how enthusiastic I was at that point, because I've kind of lost a little bit of that joy. I really have lost a little bit of that joy, and I want to get back to that. I really do. Okay, after we've checked in with our points budget, imagine how you'll feel an hour after eating the food. Unfortunately, and I'll say this with all honesty, and it's not something that I'm proud of saying, I didn't have any regrets. And I should have. I really should have had some regrets. And I think if I would have had regrets, it would have reined me back in. But it didn't rein me back in because I didn't have regrets. If I have like a slice of pizza or a couple, no, back that up. I'm never going to have a slice of pizza. If I have 2 slices of pizza in the past, I would, if I really didn't really want it, have you ever done that? Like you've had like oh, there's a pizza. I think I'll have some. I don't really want it, but I'm going to have some pizza. And then afterwards you have regrets. I, at some point, lost them regrets. I just, like, oh, I don't really want pizza. I'm going to have pizza. And then I didn't regret it. And I should have. A better example would be a Starbucks drink. If I get the actual mango dragon fruit drink, when I get an Atrenta size, it's 13 points. Usually get the bigger one like that when I go to Starbucks. After I've drank it, I'm thinking, you really should have just got the smaller one. Did you really need the Trenta size? Did you really need 32 ounces? You could have just got away with 16 ounces and it would have been half the points and half the calories. Unfortunately, I did not have that frame of mind in the last year. I'll be honest, in the last year. I want to get back to where I was. And so I think that I have to imagine how I'm going to feel. Imagine how I felt when I was doing so well, because I know how I feel now. I'm really bummed. I really am really, truly bummed. And I'm my own worst enemy. I'll admit it from the get-go, is I wake up every morning with the regret of, you've gained 50 pounds. You've gained 50 pounds back. I have to stop doing that. And I know in my heart of hearts that I know that I need to stop doing that. As soon as I stop doing that, then that's when I'll start getting back on track. So my goal for this week, and I'm going to say some extra prayers, and if you could say some extra prayers that it works for me, is I'm going to wake up in the morning and think that this is the first day that I'm ever starting, that I'm just going to start at this point right now and just go from there how much weight I've lost, because I'm just getting discouraged. I really am getting discouraged. Now, I'm not quitting. Don't get me wrong. I am not quitting, but I am getting discouraged. After we imagine how we feel an hour after we've eaten the food, think you might have regrets or feel uncomfortably full or unable to stay on track the rest of the day, that's an alarm bell. I've known that. I know that. I know it in my heart of hearts. I just choose to ignore it. And I know this is supposedly a weight loss channel and I'm supposed to be encouraging you, but I think a lot of us fall into the same trap of being so hard on ourselves to the point that we're unforgiving. And I think I'm at that point for myself that I'm unforgiving. And I would never do this for any of you. If you ever write in the comments that you're struggling in that, I always try to give you words of encouragement. You always give me words of encouragement. So I need to start following my own advice. And I just need to stop being such a defeatist, because that's really what I've been doing lately, is just defeating myself. Think how you'll feel content and satisfied and able to stay within your budgets the rest of the day. Bon appetit. Like I said, I could fit in pizza. I could fit in 2 slices of pizza. I know, 20 points. You think, oh my gosh, Sandy, 20 points. I get 26 points in the day. So that only leaves me 6 points. Okay, I could have a really nice salad and for like lunch, let's say. I could have a really nice salad for lunch and just load it up with all kinds of vegetables, and then having like 2 tablespoons of Olive Garden dressing, which is 3 points. Okay, so now I've taken care of my lunch, a 3-point lunch with a cup of tea. For breakfast, I could have had some scrambled eggs. I could have had some Aunt Millie's toast with a Laughing Cow cheese on it, which would be 2 points, 3 points. No, 2 points, because 1 slice of toast is 1 point and the Laughing Cow cheese is 2. So now I've used 5 points. And so then I've had my dinner, I've had my pizza. Okay, unfortunately, when I have pizza, I have pop. I just do. But does that mean I have to have 16 ounces of pop? No, I can have like a 8-ounce, like half of a bottle, an 8-ounce bottle of Pepsi, which would probably be 6 points. Okay, I've gone a little bit over, because I've gone about 5 or 6 points over. That's what I have my weeklies for. So I can say, today I'm going to have pizza. I'm going to have a small little 8-ounce glass of Pepsi with it. And I'm going to have a healthy breakfast and lunch. And if I get hungry in between, I'll snack on a fruit or a vegetable or some sort. And I'll fit it into my day, and I won't feel guilty, and I will enjoy it. And then the next day, maybe just be super, super aware of just eating really healthy or like making really healthy choices. And so that's my plan for this week. Not that I plan on having pizza, but I was just using that as an example. Also, give yourself time. Try focusing on something else for 5 or 10 minutes. You can even pre-track the food with a plan to come back to it later. I am a firm believer in giving yourself a 5 or 10 minute timeout. I really am, truly. I have so many issues in my life. I have I have anxiety and things like that. And I always gauge it on a scale of 1 to 10. And I always try to distract myself for like how many minutes I think that urge is going to be. And I think that, first of all, stop bringing the stuff into the house. That's my first plan. Stop bringing the stuff into the house because I don't like to drive. I just don't. Very rarely are you going to see me thinking, oh my gosh, I want a bag of chips. Am I going to get in the car and drive somewhere to the grocery store or to the party store or the bodega, whatever you call it in your area of the country, and buy a bag of chips? I'm just not. I guess I just don't have that much energy to go off track. I really don't. So I try to avoid bringing that stuff into the house. Unfortunately, with all the stress I've had since August, really this year has been a stressful year for me all the way around, everything about it. And I've turned to food, and I recognize that. So I think the first thing you got to do is recognize why you're making poor choices. And I recognize the fact that I am letting my everyday life and the troubles that I have, which are troubles that everybody has in everyday life. I mean, I'm not the only one in the world that has issues with different things, family problems, money problems, health problems, any of that. Every family has some kind of issue, and we just all have to learn how to deal with it better. And I have not dealt with it well. I just not. And I think the fact that I acknowledged it today and I said it out loud, sometimes, I love Big Brother, and I just think that sometimes you have to be like Big Brother. They're in a room alone and they're talking out loud because they know that they're like on a live feed and they know somebody's listening. But if you're in a room alone and you just want to say something out loud, just say it. If somebody comes in the room and says, who are you talking to? Just say, my inner being. I'm just talking to my inner self. And I had to say it out loud to make sure they heard. What do you care? What do you really care? I mean, as long as you're not, sometimes you got to answer yourself. That's true. Like, do you really need that banana? No, you don't need that banana. Do you really need that donut? No, I don't really need that donut. Yeah, okay, you're answering yourself a little, but you know what I mean, But I think that you just have to sometimes just get it out in the universe. I really do believe that you just got to get some things out into the universe. And I think that the fact that I really do think finally acknowledging that I'm really going in the wrong direction. And it's going to be so disturbing to me to get on the scale this week and see a gain, because I know that's what I'm going to see. But I'm preparing myself for it so that I am not putting my head in the sand and saying, well, you're going to have a gain on Thursday. You might as well go crazy until Thursday and then start again on Thursday. No, today is Sunday, first day of the week. I'm starting right now. I'm going to eat healthy the rest of the week, face the scale, see my gain, and then move on and know that the following week, because I've established myself for at least 5 days, that I can have a loss the following week. So now you want to make your move. Do you still want to eat after waiting? If you say not really, go cool, move on with your day. But if you say yes, enjoy the food, track it, and move on. If that to me is only if you're capable of just tracking the food that one time, and it's not going to lead you down the primrose path. Sometimes I have, unfortunately, from Kroger's, I have a coupon for a free donut every day. I don't even have to load it onto my card. It's already loaded onto my card. It's just automatically, because I'm such a customer, I don't know why. But if I go to Kroger's, I get a free donut every day. Now, I could get in my car and drive there every day and get a donut and then figure out in my mind, well, how many calories is it? I'll just have this many calories, or figure out how many points. The points really do make a difference as far as how you pick the foods, because just because I have a donut and let's say the donut is like 7 points, wouldn't it be better to have like a quarter cup of nuts, almonds, or something like that, which are like 5 points, but they're healthier and they're better for your body. And they don't have all that sugar and starches and, sodium, all of that other stuff that you don't need in your everyday life. Let's dive a little deeper now. Maybe a friend surprises you with their famous dessert, or you're out to eat and your sister orders your favorite app to share, the one you were going to skip in favor of a cocktail. Even if you plan ahead and budget points like an all-star, you can't anticipate every food or drink that pops up on your radar and throws you and your plans for a loop. I am so guilty of when I watch TV and I see a commercial for, and I watch very few commercials because I tape just about everything and I skim through the commercials. My new favorite commercial is the John Travolta Christmas, where it plays to the Saturday Night Live, or Saturday Night, no, not Saturday Night Live. What is that song? You know, you down, yeah, I think it was Saturday Night Live. No, that's the show. Saturday Night Fever. Thank you. I heard you. Saturday Night Fever. He's walking along, and then the clerk in the office that's saying, Santa, where have you been all this time? Where have you been around, or whatever? She's the girl that was in the back seat with all the guys. They kept wanting to be with John Travolta during the movie. Anyway, that's my favorite commercial. And it's for a credit card, so I don't have to worry about being tempted for food when I back it up. But there are many commercial for food that I, like, oh, skip through that because it'll tempt me. Some of them might even think, oh, you know what? I haven't had a Burger King in a long time when you see the Burger King commercial, so then those kind of tempt me a little bit. But you can anticipate how you'll react. It's normal to just automatically reach for tasty foods when they're right in front of you, but pausing to mindfully check with yourself and your future you gives you a chance to more consciously choose how you react. Putting extra time and distance between you and the food is always going to help. In the end, you may decide to still eat the food. That's more than okay. The goal isn't to swear off your favorites, because we all know that does not work. It's to notice that the desire to eat that particular food. So you want to break that automatic, I have to see it, I have to eat it right away reflex, and instead make a more informed decision. That alone is a win and can help you stay on track for the long haul. Like I said, just because I get a free donut at Kroger's doesn't mean I have to have a free donut at Kroger's. I mean, I have to really think it aloud before I go in there. Do I really need a donut? I know I'm going to get a free donut, and I know it's only 75 cents. But do I really need a donut? And I'm struggling with that concept right now because I really want a donut. But I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go because I've decided that I'm going to really stop and think through the decisions. And if it's really something I want, I'm going to track it first to see how many points it is and figure out what I'm planning, how much I've already eaten for the day, if that's the case, or how much I plan on eating the rest of the day. So I want to see if whatever I'm choosing is going to fit into my budget. And sometimes it means using my weeklies. That's what they're there for. So don't deprive yourself. And I think the fact that I kept saying, well, I don't want to deprive myself. I have a free donut every day. I can have a free donut. Am I depriving myself by not only having it once a week rather than every day? No, not really. I'm not. I have to really get the right mindset going. 3 fast facts. When faced with the food we love, our brains turn on and tend to stay focused on it. Such a true statement. Number 2, swearing off certain foods can backfire, often leading us to overeat them in the long run. Sometimes it's even like, I'm not going to have a donut, but I think I'll have a bag of chips, or I'll get some Cheetos, or I won't even get the single portion size. I'll get the big bag. I'm not going to portion it out. I'm just going to eat it. And so I overeat other stuff, avoiding the donut. Whereas in the long run, I would have been better off just eating like maybe half of the donut and putting the other half in the freezer, and then having it another day when I had an urge for a donut. I used to make Weight Watcher friendly donuts, which Jim and I did like, and they're not really that much effort. So I need to dig out my recipes again and start following a better recipe plan. Jim is having some health issues with his heart right now. All the more reason to get my book out and start eating a little bit more Weight Watcher friendly. And he'll eat what I put in front of him. So he's not a big vegetable eater, but I know there's cookbooks out there where you can hide vegetables, like for little kids. Maybe I might have to do that for Jim. And number 3, pausing to make a conscious decision can give us more control over what and how much we eat. Such a true statement. I think that if we really are aware of how much it is, how many points it is, even on the app, after you put the points in, if you scroll up, you can see how many calories it is, how many fat grams it is, how much sodium is in it. It lists all of the stuff that you need to know about that particular food item. And then you can make an informed decision at that point. Plus, it'll take a little bit of time as you're tracking it to see what's going on. Anyway, this week it's how to make tricky food decisions on the fly. What are some food decisions that are really hard for you to avoid? Donuts at the bakery at Kroger's. They're very hard for me to avoid. That's one of my tricky food decisions that I have to overcome. Also, just thinking that sometimes it's just easier to get carry out. rather than try to make the food. You can make it healthier at home. You can make it cheaper at home, but sometimes it's just, you make the decision right then. I make the decision. No, I'm not going to cook tonight. I'm going to get carry out. So what are some of the things that are your tricky food decisions? Also, how did you do on your weight? And any suggestions for me? Like I said, I'm going to watch some older videos today to try to get my mojo back and just get back on plan. That's my plan, get back on plan. And just know that we all struggle. We all kind of fall to the wayside at some point, but we all can do it as long as we don't quit. And there is no quitting in me. But if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button, share if you think somebody might like to see it. Hopefully I see you here again next week on my weekly meeting highlights, but I'd really like to see you on my daily vlog. Tune in on Thursday for my daily vlog. They're usually posted right around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. But I will let you know how Birdie and I did at our Weight Watcher meeting on Thursday. So talk to you guys soon.